If you are concerned about what is going on in our world and whether or not there is an end point to all of this, I want to assure you today that certainly there is. And because we believe and we know we're living in the end of time based on the Word of God, we need a certain word. We need a sure word. We need something that we can trust. Jesus has the right and the authority to speak to the end time because he has command of the past, the present, and the future. In Matthew 24 that we've been looking at, verse 21, it says, "There will be great tribulation, such as has not been since the beginning of the world until this time, no, nor ever shall be. And unless those days were shortened, no flesh would be saved. For the elect's sake, those days will be shortened. And if anyone say to you, Look, here is the Christ, or there, do not believe it. For false Christs and false prophets will arise and show great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. So I have told you beforehand. Therefore, if they say to you, Look, he's in the desert, do not go out. Or look, he's in the inner room, do not believe it. For as the lightning comes from the east and shines even unto the west, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. For where there the carcass is, there the eagles will be gathered together." Here in these verses in Matthew 24, Jesus is again reminding us that we can live our lives in confidence. He's saying to us that in the midst of life, with all of the trials, with all of the tribulation, with all of the difficulties that we face, we need to know that it is still not the end. We can be ready at any time to take on the religious prognosticators, because he says false prophets will come, false prophets will arise. And what will they do? They will go so far as to show great signs and wonders. In fact, Paul teaches us that Satan himself will be transformed into an angel of light, and therefore it's no marvel that his ministers are also angels of light. Now, what we see in this teaching of Jesus is that these false teachers will have the ability to work miracles. And that's why we cannot just depend on what we see with our eyes or hear with our ears. We've got to depend on the certainty of the word. We need to be mindful. He says, I've told you beforehand. Therefore, if they say to you, Look, he's in the desert place. In other words, you don't have to depend on CNN or NBC or MSNBC or ABC to let you know that Jesus is coming. No, he says everyone will know. He says he comes with cloud and every eye will see him. I am not able to tell you precisely how he's going to do that, but if he has the ability to make this world, he has also the ability to come in a manner so that everyone will see it for him or herself. But we go back to the whole question of tribulation. We have tribulation on a personal level. We're dealing with issues that we have no answer for. We see relationships falling apart right before our eyes. We see children being disobedient to parents. We see the reckless disregard for human life. All of these are indicators that Jesus is coming and we're approaching rapidly the end of time. And so today, as you look at what's going on around you in the religious world, in the political world, wherever you are, understand that Jesus has given you a sure word. He says the end is not yet, but be mindful that at the end of it all, he will come. In fact, he says, if you are a sincere child of God, you will not be deceived, because you will be studying the word and making sure that you go in for certainty. And so what are we to do? It says the coming of Jesus is the event that the entire creation is moving towards. The coming of Jesus is that all important event when he will come and he will reign as King of Kings and Lord of Lords. So he has already put us on notice. He's already indicated to us that we need not allow ourselves to be deceived. In order for us not to be deceived, we have to become students of the Word. We're not just dependent on what others say, but we must, for ourselves, get into the Word, study the Word, and we will be guided by the Spirit of God. Because He says, I have some things I need to tell you that you cannot bear now, but when the Spirit of truth comes, He will guide you into all truth. And so today, as you prepare to take on the challenges of a new day, just be mindful that Jesus, the master of the ocean and the waves and the sea, the creator of the universe, has a word for you. He says, when you confront trials and tribulation, remember, it's not the end. I have a purpose for your life, and that purpose is going to be fulfilled. I am coming, and I'm coming soon. I am the beginning and the end. I'm the first and the last. I am the Alpha and the Omega. Jesus is interested in His purpose for your life being fulfilled. And so whatever it is, wherever you go, be mindful that Jesus is watching over you and He's taking care. And He wants to make sure that you fulfill His divine purpose, and that when He comes, you will be among those who will be there to greet Him and welcome Him as Lord of Lords and King of Kings.